ね、僕も喋ったことあるし、前ウィライズやった時に出てもらったからね。
そうですね。番組では
取り上げてないけど、
そうですね、
ウィライズで
ね、
一瞬出てもらった時の動画とかあるんですか。まあいいや、いずれにしましても、ほらこれそうね、彼が大統領に立候補しましたよ。いや面白かった。ということで彼の大統領立候補メッセージこちらです。どうぞ。
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
My father and my uncle had a vision for America, a vision of racial harmony, of prosperity for all Americans, of peace in the world, and of honest government. Their lives were tragically cut short, and America took a different path. Yet the possibility they foresaw is still alive, the America that almost was, and yet may be. I've been fighting corporate corruption my entire life, but I understand that today the problem is much larger than a few crooked individuals. The problem is a system that no longer serves the people, and a people who are so divided and so fearful that they are easily ruled. It's time to unlearn the reflexes of fear and blame and find ways to unify ourselves and turn our country around. I won't pretend to you that it will be easy, but I know what it will take. My father said it: love, wisdom, and compassion toward one another, and that's where we need to start. We will scale down the war machine and bring our resources home. We will rebuild our water systems, repair our roads, modernize our railroads, and clean up our environment. We will also clean up government and earn back the people's trust. We will end the secrecy, the censorship, and the surveillance. We will again be a fearless land of liberty.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it.
We will face honestly the darker parts of our history, the genocide, the racism, not to shame or blame or punish, but to repair as best we can in a spirit of compassion and kindness toward all. I'm Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., and I'm running for President of the United States.
わあ、すごくないですか？
まあ彼ね、ケネディ家でしょ。だからアメリカで超有名な一家ですよね。
いやもうそれは
ウィライズでもメッセージしてくれた反ワクチンの世界的なリーダーです。
そうです。
だからこの製薬会社の企みとかそういったものをものすごく暴いてる人ですよね。
はい。
だからものすごい今注目が集まってて、立候補を表明した日のニュース報道をまず見ていただきましょうか。こちらです。
どうぞ。
I've come here today to announce my candidacy for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States.
Well, this sounds like a campaign slogan from 50 years ago. Kennedy for president, but this time it's RFK Jr. who wants to be on the ballot. Robert Kennedy Jr. made his official campaign announcement this afternoon in Boston.
Yeah, he's an environmental lawyer known for his anti-vaccine activism and hopes to challenge President Biden for the Democratic nomination. WBC's Beth Germano is live at the Park Plaza Hotel in Boston.
Well, he certainly had a lot to say, addressing the crowd for nearly 2 hours on issues ranging from what he believes is government collusion with pharmaceutical companies, the vaccine mandate, even questioning the war in Ukraine. He had a receptive audience that seemed to be looking for a fresh face, but the name Kennedy does help.
He comes from a storied Democratic political family, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. acknowledges his politics are more controversial.
I'm not one of these people who've spent their life saying I got to be really careful because one day I'm going to be in the White House.
He's been an environmental crusader and now an anti-vaccine candidate running for the Democratic presidential nomination, whose skepticism may put him more in line with Donald Trump than President Biden. But he believes government has been lining the pockets of corporations.
To poison our children and our people with chemicals and pharmaceutical drugs.
In this crowd of some 500, there were few familiar Massachusetts Democrats, but some who call themselves disillusioned Democrats.
His candidacy reminds a lot of people about why they haven't been trusting their government for a long time.
Biden has been ineffectual, and Trump was ineffectual, and this guy tells the truth.
He attacked former President Trump's decision to lock down the country in the midst of the pandemic, calling it a constitutional crisis.
The worst thing that he did to this country, to our civil rights, to our economy, to the middle class in this country, was the lockdown.
One hurdle to his candidacy may be his own family, some who have been at odds with his political views and activism.
Many of them also just plain disagree with me on issues like censorship, on war, on public health, and they are entitled to their beliefs.
But he referred often to the legacies of his father, Robert, the former U.S. attorney and presidential candidate, and his uncle, John F. Kennedy. And some here today admit the family ties are a draw.
To me, there's a certain mystique there. However, I hold no one on a pedestal. I'm very cynical about government.
Now, Kennedy lives in California, but says he chose Boston to make his announcement because of his family's ties to the city.
すごいことになって